So astronomy, in the context of the seven liberal arts and sort of Masonic symbolism, has a couple of different meanings. Like everything, it's always sort of flexible and depends on where you're coming from and what angle and all that kind of thing. But for our present purposes, when it comes to why do they have astronomy mentioned as one of the things you should pursue in the context of self-development, and particularly as a lens through which to view the world? It starts to be obvious very quickly that astronomy follows certain rules and behaviors, and those rules and behaviors are in many ways quasi-mysterious. We've been studying them for generations, since the beginning of human history. Guys looked up and said, I wonder what that's doing. Um, However, one of the things that happens and is really important in astronomy as a concept is that there is a system of how these things move, right? Physics, all of the kinds of sciences that have emerged from the pursuit of just understanding the world around us, tells us a lot about the way the stars move and how they interact. But that understanding that they are following a pattern and that pattern is in its own way immutable, is really important and profound when it comes to understanding our own behavior, right? As we sit and reflect on things that are happening in the world, um, there are certain things like the concepts that are, really driving things like astronomy, like gravity, for example. It is really hard to escape gravity as a concept. It takes us a lot of effort, a lot of manpower, a lot of fuel to get off of this planet. One of the things that is very true about gravity is it tends to control things in its influence. When you start looking at astronomy and looking at how you can use that as a lens into your own behavior, there are certain things that happen like gravity. You can take astronomical concepts like that and start to understand that these immutable laws of the way the world works have an influence not only on the stars above us, but on the people around us and the things within us. It's the as above, so below concept of the sort of hermetic understanding of the fact that these things start to mirror themselves in a fractal pattern. Now, we don't have to get into the super deep side of that conversation. It's sufficient for most people to just understand that there are patterns in the way the world works above us, and that those patterns are replicated within us and around us. It is super productive to then understand that some of those patterns. If you want to change the way the world works, you have to work with the patterns that are different, right? So, for example, if you want to change your weight, there are patterns in the way your weight is determined, right? So if you eat more calories than you expend in general large moving pieces, that's going to result in you gaining weight. This is no different than orbits and gravity from astronomy. It is the immutable kind of laws of the universe. And so, if you want to change the way that works, and you want to change your outcomes, or you want to better shape yourself as a living stone, or any of those kind of concepts, you have to understand enough about the way the world works to then work within those systems. There are some frameworks that you simply cannot uh, uh, work your way out of, right? Without understanding those mechanics. So you're never gonna, uh, exercise your way to height. Like it doesn't, those things don't work. You can't really exercise your way taller. In the same way, you can't, uh, you know, really fight a lot of the sort of systems that are, again, immutable. So understanding those and studying those from an astronomical context, and then figuring out how those apply for you on a personal context, is really what one of the major sort of charges of astronomy is go learn how the world works, and then bring that go learn how the stars work and bring that into your everyday life. And as such, you should be able to kind of start moving your conversations forward, or at the very least, stop fighting the things that you can't fight in the way that you're fighting them. I guess is probably even more handy as a sort of way to think about it. Um, that doesn't mean you can't change. It just means you can't defy the laws of nature. The stars can't define their own path in that way. They're stuck. But you're not. You can use those understandings and change the world around you and change the world within yourself.